My name's Nadia Shalise, and I'm a person from San Bernardino, California, a student at UC Santa Barbara, someone studying abroad at the University of Ghana, Legon. I'm just a little baby soul making art, traveling around looking for others who are doing something similar.
So my name is Lora, and my artist name is Lora. Lora, I am 22 years old, and I'm from Ghana, which I think is also important. I was born in Ghana. I moved to California when I was 10, going on 11 in 2006. I started off writing and drawing on walls when I was like 5. And I also really enjoyed dancing. Like when I moved to America, my life changed drastically, and the way that I dealt with it was writing. I don't think I'm completely sure of what I want. But I used to daydream and fantasize about being big as Beyonce. Until, I realized that you can't be big as Beyonce. You can only be big as you. I definitely see myself being someone who becomes well known in Africa and quote unquote cross over into international music market. We consume a lot of American music, a lot of black music, but it's not the other way around where people in America are singing those African songs. I want to represent Ghana, but then it's I don't know how many Ghanaians really fuck with my shit. I want to portray myself in a sensual, sexy way, because that's just how I feel most comfortable, or me. And then my music is also trying to tell my story that I am a sexual assault survivor, that I also dealt with domestic abuse, and I also dealt with physical abuse, and so many things that I've overcome. And I want to tell that in my lyrics, but at the same time it's kind of also contradictory apparently. And I think that's really what I want to do, is bring light to certain things that's just been accepted or seen as just the house conversation. Let's just keep this in the house and not say this in public. My parents are okay with me being an artist, but I don't think they completely understand what they are signing up for when they agree that, oh, okay, you want to be an artist, cool. Me being an artist comes with me really pushing their boundaries, even in my personal life. So when I tell my family, I want to be an artist, I really mean I want to be free. I think the arts is really essential, but I don't think it's valued as much as math or science is valued. Being an artist is not an easy thing. And that's the thing that I was explaining to my mother, actually, that if we didn't have artists, I don't think we would have societies. In the African culture, we, maybe had bonfires where we would tell tales and stories, or even made songs and dancing and things like that. All of those things fall into being art. I'm really gravitated towards artists who push boundaries, because that's essentially what I want to do. It's Ms. Bell, I think, paved the way for someone like Ebony. She pushed the boundary in terms of female voice in music. And then One Love Kobola, because everything about him is pushing boundaries. Through his music and aesthetic, bring up issues of environmental pollution, whether it's social issues of LGBTQ, or women rights, or just religion. Ebony is also very similar to Ms. Bell. I guess the voice of our generation, was fearless doing what she was doing. To be so young to drop out of school in Ghana and to just say, I want to do music, and she went for it. One thing I really loved that maybe Miss Bell didn't have, one thing I loved about Ebony was the fact that she also expressed, appreciating her blackness was also part of her brand. I want to use my music to kind of change the way that women are seen in this society. There's this like false pride that men have in Ghana that just kind of destroys women's voice. Like even being a female artist, you don't have that freedom to create and say what you want to say. I think I said what I had to say.
Okay, so my name is Osei Usu Ansa. I did most of my schooling in Accra, and then I pursued my sound engineering career with some short courses in some schools, and then apprenticeships, and then here I am. I think I had this calling. I call it calling. I had this calling like very early, around 9 years. The thing actually runs in my family, so I realized that is it. So I started playing the piano very early. I started with the drums actually, went to the piano, and then now to sound. So my dad wasn't worried, but he was like, he always sets examples and say, when you do accounting, when you're an accountant, you have pension scheme. When you are a banker, you have pension scheme. But with the sound, what do you get? But I told him, look, everyone can create. I could be the first person to create that difference. So I think at a point in time, he realized that nothing can stop me pursue my career. So they had to just let go. And then, rent in Ghana, it's much expensive. So then the ideas started coming. Yeah, so I converted the garage, the hall, and then the sitting area, and then the dining area into a live recording studio. And this is what I live for. In the next like 2 to 5 years, you see, I realized the TV industry and the radio industry in Ghana, they have a problem with the sound. The movie industry has a problem with the sound. So the next year, I want to open my own TV station, and then the major factor will be on the sound. That's the difference I want to create. So gradually, I'm turning this whole place into a media house. Currently, I'm lecturing at the University of Ghana as the sound design lecturer, which I'm teaching level 300 and then level 600. I wouldn't want to condemn the educational system in Ghana, but I think they can really improve, because you realize sound art is a practical thing. And you can have the students and the lecturer in like a lecture room that we don't even have any sound equipment. And then how do you expect that to teach? So it becomes more of theory. So when I get on the field, I'm not going to define, I'm going to work. So I think they can improve. We need labs, we need sound labs, we need more of those stuffs. Okay, the way I feel about how Ghanaians or Ghana handles sound and TV production and all those stuff, we rather spend much money on the cast than the technical crew or the crew. I think we will get there because there are few directors who understand. Ghana has really influenced me a lot to have this career. Starting my career, I didn't have access to all these things I have. I remember like back then, when I was learning how to play the drum, I would pick cans and then design like a drum and then be playing. The schools we went to didn't have any facilities that would do music, would teach you how to use this stuff. So I trained my ear. Basically, we learn most of these things the hard way. So when we have the tools to do it, it becomes easier. Because I was playing drums with cans. So right now, imagine you put me behind a raw drum. Most of the engineers in Ghana, or including myself, we learned stuff the hard way. Some of the speakers, I have to just get the picture and then be looking at the picture till now that I know I can afford some of this stuff. So we build cables ourselves, we do plugs ourselves. You realize when you travel to most of the like developed countries, you have mixing engineers, you have mastering engineers, you have programmers, you have even patching engineers. But in Ghana, you can't be a patching engineer who can't mix. There has been a lot of challenges and moments where I had to bump into stuff that I nearly gave up. In pursuit of my dream, I didn't look up to anyone. That's the honest truth. I didn't look up to anyone because I realized most of the engineers in Ghana are limited. But in pursuit of the engineering, I looked up to someone. His name is Hammer. His real name is Nana Osaipoku. And then I think what made him different was the kind of programming he did, the kind of ideas he put in the song. See, his beats were like without vocals on the beat. You can listen to the beat. He plays the beats like they are stories, and I took that from him. So through my art, what I would like to bring to Ghana, if I have the chance, is to add more technicality in terms of the art. The advice I'll give to my students here is never lose focus. When you have a vision, it's only you. What you want to do, no one knows it. So you have everything you want to do in your head. So I always tell them, don't give up. Just make sure you change the generation you are in. That's all. Because if someone works at a bank or someone is a medical doctor, the same respect he earns, I want to earn that same respect as a sound engineer. My name is Osei, and watch out, because I'm bringing something different to this world.